With that being said, I guess we're going to get into the question of Ripley versus Ripmo. Which is the right one for you? Which one should you go with? Is the Ripley enough? So forgive me guys if I don't talk as much. If I was to lose teeth, this portion of trail is probably where that would happen. What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a long-term review of my Ibis Ripley. This has actually been my go-to mountain bike throughout the year. Probably confusing a few people out there because I know both Hannah and I come off more as enduro riders. We definitely like our trails a little bit more on the techie side, but like I said, this has been the go-to bike for me. For those of you who might not be familiar, Ibis Cycles actually does sponsor this channel. And as you guys have probably seen in our previous videos, this has been in a majority of the videos. I really do love this thing. It puts a smile on my face, both uphill and downhill. And I feel like this is actually the perfect mountain bike for a majority of riders out there. So I'm here to kind of put my vote in for the Ripley. And maybe if you are on the fence between a Ripmo and Ripley, help you with that decision. So by the end of this video, you should know more about the Ibis Ripley and whether this is gonna be the right mountain bike for you. Now, if you are in the market for a mountain bike, just wanna give a huge shout out to our buddy Sean at N+1 Bikes. It's a bike stop in Louisville, Kentucky. Really awesome guy. He helps us out a ton, so definitely want to shout him out here. Customer service to the highest level. So if you have any questions about your next bike purchase, definitely hit him up. Now, really quick, going over my build on my Ibis Ripley, and we can do a more in-depth review video a little bit later on, maybe about like SRAM AXS drivetrain, but just kind of letting you guys know how I have this current bike set up. For suspension, we do have that DVO Sapphire up front, another shocker to a lot of people out there. So DVO is a sponsor of the channel and they have definitely burlier forks. I went with their more XC option. I really love that fork and I feel like it adds a lot to the ride. It just kind of makes it feel like you get a little bit more response from the trail and it just makes riding a little bit funner overall. Haven't serviced it the entire year and I've thrashed it and it's still going strong, so definitely shout out to that fork. In terms of the wheels, I am running Industry 9 wheels. I have the Ibis Carbon 35S rims and I have those laced to Industry 9's Hydra Hub. Huge fan of that wheel set. It's been super solid for me. I like the high engagement and the rims have been solid as well. For tires, I actually have Maxxis Recon 29 by 2.6, both front and rear. Can't say enough great things about this tires. I was a little skeptical because I am a Minion guy. I've always been a Minion guy. So when I went to this, I was kind of curious if I was still gonna have enough traction to make it down the trail. The more time I spend on these tires, the more these kind of go to my high list of favorite tires. Now for the cockpit, I am running One-Up Components carbon riser handlebar, and they do have a little bit of flex built into them. The flex is noticeable and it definitely is appreciated on a long day in the saddle, especially if you're riding a little bit more burlier style tracks. And on a shorter travel bike, anytime you can kind of have flex built into certain components, obviously needs to be the right component and intentional flex. Yeah, definitely appreciated there. For the grips, I'm running the P&W Loam grips. Love these grips. P&W Components is also a sponsor of the channel and a really cool company at that. And I run gloveless and these grips do really well with gloveless, even if your hands start to get a little bit sweaty. So yeah, definitely a huge fan of these grips. I'm running a P&W Loam lever for the dropper post lever, most comfortable dropper post lever on the market. I've said that both before they became a partner with the channel and after. Highly recommend checking those out. It's connected to a P&W Bachelor dropper post. I have it set up at 200 millimeters. Now for brakes, I am running my favorite XT4 piston brakes. I've tested a lot of brakes on the market. These are my personal favorites, both for reliability and stopping power. I don't think that they're perfect. I feel like if there was a brake that had a little bit better modulation but was just as easy to maintain, I'd try those. But yeah, I just haven't come across those yet, so stay tuned. Maybe I'll find something in the future. For the most controversial part on my bike, it's my SRAM AXS drivetrain. We definitely get a lot of dentist comments when people see our drivetrain. But to be completely honest with you guys, I actually am a huge fan of SRAM AXS. It's been the most consistent shifting from day one. Every shift feels the same. It's been really durable. I've definitely hit that derailleur on a ton of rocks. And you could also hear that motorized clutch working when you do hit it on a rock. But with that being said, the derailleur's held up fine. I've only run into one issue, and that was basically the 50 tooth started to come unpinned from the cassette because it is like a machine, one machine with the pins, the riveted pins. But that was also taken care of as a warranty, and that was just me as a general customer. There wasn't no like preferential treatment there. So now that we've gone over my build, let's do a quick lap. This was actually filmed a few weeks ago when we were in Moab on my personal favorite trail, Captain Ahab. And every time I build up a bike, there's that one trail that I have in mind that I'm really excited to ride on the bike. And for me personally, when I built up the Ripley, it was Captain Ahab. Love that trail, and I feel like that is where this bike truly shines. It really is the definition of kind of what this bike is good for. So let's cut to that footage right now. Anytime that I build up a bike, there's like one trail that I have in mind that I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to ride that trail on this bike. And Captain Ahab was that when I built up the Ripley. Try to make the right. Which way are we going? I think we're going this way. Woo! Okay, nice. Up through here, right up here. Okay, gotta be careful here. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Right down here. Boom. I was a little offline there. No problem. This section I think it's techie, but we got this, right? Okay, nice, no problem. Man, I love this bike, and I love this trail. Two of my two favorite things in the bike world. Hannah's definitely high on the, in general, favorite list. This is the more techie portion of the trail too. It only gets better from here, guys. Stick with me. You gotta really dial in your line choice here. Follow the blue lines. I always get hung up here. The blue lines kind of disappear on you pretty fast. I think you stick wide. Oh man, I'm not trying to lose teeth. And I think you go in here, and then in here. Okay. We are still on the bike. Thank you, Ripley. So forgive me, guys, if I don't talk as much. If I was to lose teeth, this portion of trail is probably where that would happen. Boy. It's fair share of awkwardness. Up and over, down. Gotta be careful there. Sometimes that rock is missing. Okay. Whew. Wait. Still looking up. And then you really don't want to blow this corner because that is cliff. That's why they have those arrows. Whew. Okay. Right down here. Boom, boom, boom. If you've never been on a short travel bike with a short travel fork or more cross-country oriented fork, try it out. You would be surprised how much you could do on the downhills and get away with it. And then you get so much acceleration and so much speed. I don't know, like I would, oh, whoa, almost slipped there. I really do think top 5 favorite trails of all time, I would put Captain Ahab high on that list. It's like, I feel like sums up what mountain biking is. Oh, that sounds weird. You guys are probably wondering too, Mo, is there anything the Ripley is not good at? I will say, if you're in a bike park, you're just trying to hammer out bike park laps, you might get a little bit more beat up than an enduro bike. That is for sure. There's a little less room for air than something like the Ripmo. Whew. But I don't know. I think most riders would find the Ripley plenty and also super stable for a majority of riding out there. I think oh, whoa. Oh, I did it. I made it. Almost slipped off, but I made it. Oh, it's really loose right now. So the rock is like extra slippery. We're done. I think we're done. Oh, we're done. Whew, we're gonna get out of the way. Oh, that was awesome, guys. That's Captain Ahab. Yeah, Captain Ahab, I feel like, is a trail that really does sum up what the Ripley is. And I guess this is where we're gonna start breaking down the long-term review on the Ibis Ripley. Now, starting off with climbing, and I feel like this is the more obvious part, the Ripley is an amazing climber. It's a 120 millimeter 29er. This thing is a rocket ship uphill. As soon as you get on the gas, the bike starts shooting uphill. Doesn't feel like there's that much energy lost through suspension movement. And if anything, I actually find this bike to climb a little bit more efficiently when the shock is in the middle setting, so not fully locked out, because the bike does just the right amount of tracking to the trail to where the bike is staying planted and all of that power that you're putting into the bike is actually moving you forward. So yeah, in terms of uphill, this thing is a rocket ship, very precise with the head angle as well. The head angle sits around 66.5 degrees, which on paper looks a little bit slack. I guess not nowadays, but if you looked at this style of bike 3 years ago, you'd be like, oh, it's a little on the slacker side. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like that when you are on the trails. It feels like the front end is very responsive on climbs, especially tight switchbacks. And it kind of just feels like you just look at your line, put the power down and go. So uphill, I don't think anyone is surprised by this. Amazing climber. And one of the reasons that I do reach for this bike so often is because it's so fast uphill. I can kind of just go out there, hammer out my ride, and we're about to talk about the downhills. Still have a really fun time on the downhills, huge smile on my face. But yeah, that efficiency is there. But so now moving on to the downhill portion of the review, and I feel like this is where a lot of people are gonna be more interested in because it's come up in the comments, it's come up on my Instagram comments. A lot of people just asking, do you feel like the Ripley is capable enough? Does it do everything? Is it holding you back? And to be completely honest with you guys, this thing is a blast downhill. And there has been very few situations where I've been like, I'm 100% not gonna ride this section because of the bike I'm riding. It's actually a fairly capable mountain bike. So like I said, the head angle is right around 66.5 degrees. The suspension design is also fairly active. And you do, even though it's 120 mils of rear travel, it is a 29er, so the rollover is there as well. And I have found myself hitting all the lines I would hit when I did have the Ripmo or on my HD5. I will be the first to admit that I'm not necessarily as fast as I would be if I was on one of those bikes, but at the same time, I'm still riding the feature. And the bike is plenty capable. So yeah, in terms of what can this bike ride, I would actually say it could ride a good amount of what you can do also on the Ripmo. You just might not be riding it as fast. And obviously with something like the Ripmo, you might have a little bit of extra room for air. With that being said, I guess we're gonna get into the question of Ripley versus Ripmo. Which is the right one for you? Which one should you go with? Is the Ripley enough? Is the Ripmo too much? Which one's the ultimate mountain bike? I guess that's gonna come down to what type of rider are you? If I had to define myself as a rider, I would say I'm that type of rider where I really like to be one of the first ones to the top of a climb. I like to hang with the top guys. That's something I definitely enjoy. I like the cardio aspect of it. But when I get to the top, I want to ride the techiest trail down in that area. Now, I'm okay with not hanging with the top group on the downhill. So I don't need to be the first one down, but I would like to be up there with the first one up, if that kind of makes sense. And I feel like that is a very good summary of what the Ripley is. Do I think that the Ripmo isn't for everybody as well? It's a tough question because I also really do love the Ripmo. And I actually have a Ripmo that I will be building up soon. I feel like the Ripmo is that bike for someone who is okay with taking their time and kind of hanging with the mid-pack on the climb. It's still an amazing climber, and I feel like you take the right mountain biker, you put them on the Ripmo, they're gonna get to the top of the climb probably ahead of me. But when you get to the top, you're actually gonna be able to keep up with those top guys on a majority of the techie style trails in that area. And the other thing too is you do have that room for error as well. So say you are riding those super techie downhill tracks, the Ripmo is gonna give you a little bit more room for air over the Ripley, a little bit more stability, a little bit more confidence. But if you already know those trails and you're okay with taking your time on the downhill, kind of like picking your lines on the way down, the Ripley edges it out there. The Ripmo more confidence, a little bit more stable as well. So it's a tough question. At the end of the day, the best thing to do is to demo. And Ibis does a good job with their demo fleets. And I know a lot of dealers too, demos are kind of their thing, but don't rule out the Ripley. Because like I said, if you're that rider that definitely enjoys climbing and you still want to have fun on the downhills, but you want that kind of one bike to do everything, I think I would put the Ripley high on that list, and I have had a ton of fun on it. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys have any other questions, let us know in the comment section. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think? What do you think of the Ripley? What do you have? And until next time, you guys, ride awesome. Phew.